Hey, when you're putting up your nativity scene this Christmas, should you put up a red dragon with it? Listen up and I'll tell you why. First, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, and the like button. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Christmas story through the book of Revelation. Now, I'm sure that you already know Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. I hope that doesn't come as a big shocker, but it's true. While the commercialization of Jesus' birth has significant undertones, reminding me of the money changers outside the temple, a part of me is happy that so many people who normally don't think about God are doing so around this time of the year. It's encouraging to see folks talking about falling in love with an infant who had angels heralding his birth, strangers giving him gifts, wise men and shepherds seeking him out, and adults getting on their knees in front of a newborn to worship him, a little baby. My prayer is that they will continue their love for this child as he matures into an adult and eventually submits to being tortured to death, a sacrifice that gives us all the opportunity to spend eternity in heaven instead of hell. But if we only accept the invitation to trust and obey, that's what we need to do. If you're in love with that little baby Jesus, stay in love with him all the way to the end. Anyway, that's not the reason for this short little video. What I would like to share with you today is finding Christmas in the book of Revelation. Okay, that's not exactly right, but you have to admit that's a pretty good attention grabber. So, tying the beauty of a child's birth to the end of the world usually wouldn't have a lot of things in common, but I'd like to give it a try. So, thanks for listening to this point. I hope you'll be edified for continuing on to the end. We're going to be looking at Revelation 12. It has a lot of imagery in it. And in an effort to simplify the text, I'm going to just read it without a lot of the more difficult symbols so that you can see how it relates to the birth of Jesus. So here we go. Here's my simplified version of Revelation 12. A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon. And the dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child the moment he was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all of the nations with an iron scepter. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to earth, and his angels with him. And then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, "Now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down. They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell on them, but woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short." When the dragon saw that he had been hurled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. And then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring, those who keep God's commands and hold fast their testimony about Jesus. Wow. Revelation 12. Jesus' birth was more than just the miraculous beginning that we read about in the Gospels. It started a war in heaven. Satan and his angels fought it out and were cast out of the presence of God because of Jesus. And then the devil tried to kill Jesus before the Christ could complete his mission, but Satan failed. And when Jesus did die, Satan realized 3 days later that he was instrumental in bringing about his own eternal defeat because Jesus conquered death. The conflict has already been won, my friends, but the war rages on around us. Every single day, Satan is still fighting those who keep God's commands and hold fast to their testimony about Jesus. It's a spiritual battle. Now, whose camp are you in the other 11 months of the year? Please realize that you really don't have a choice. You are either on Jesus' side or you're on Satan's side. There's no neutral ground. And that's my lesson. So there you have it. I hope you were able to find Christmas in the book of Revelation. It's there whether we like it or not. And it's not as pretty as a little infant in a manger surrounded by people glowing with love. No, in the background, lurking in the dark corner, Satan himself was making plans to kill that newborn baby. So while you're putting out your nativity scene this year, make sure you don't forget that red dragon. And don't forget, Christmas only comes once a year, but the war never ends. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm Bob Balch with the That's Jesus channel. Be blessed.